What's up, wavers? Welcome to PhD in Waves. Welcome to another video. In today's video, I'm going over how do you fix frizzy, overcurled, bunched up, scrambled waves. This is one of my most requested videos because I always get comments of people saying, when I brush my hair frizzes back up. When I do the wash and style, my hair frizzes back up. So in today's video, I'm gonna go over why this happens and how to fix this. Let me show you guys my hair because I am experiencing some frizziness. You can't tell because I just took off my Durag, but I'm gonna brush my hair and show you guys my hair starting to overcurl and my hair super frizzy. So let me show you. So as you can see, my hair is super frizzy and I am starting to overcurl, but I know a lot of other wavers experience their hair looking really scrambled, bunched up, frizzy, and overcurling. So in today's video, I'm gonna break down how to get rid of this. I know other wavers will experience this a little bit more than me if their waves aren't fully trained, but as you can see, my waves are fully trained, so you can't really tell as much. All right, so let's break down why this happens. The first reason why your hair is overcurled, frizzy, bunched up, and scrambled is because your waves simply just aren't trained. You're not brushing enough. You have to brush your hair every morning and every night to fully train your waves. Just because you start to see ripples or if you start to see connections doesn't mean you can stop brushing. You have to brush on a consistent basis because your curls will overcurl and try to go back to its natural state, which are curls. So you have to constantly fight your hair technically to lay down and be stretched so your hair doesn't overcurl and go back into curls. The second reason why you're experiencing scrambled, bunched up, frizzy waves is because you're not combing enough. Simply brushing your hair isn't really going to train your pattern because a brush kind of just glides over the first layers of your pattern. You have to comb your pattern in order to penetrate all layers of your curls. The comb is really gonna go in between your curls and it's gonna penetrate all layers of your pattern to fully train your waves. So when you're brushing and you see that your hair is starting to frizz up, that's because the lower levels of your curls aren't necessarily trained. So you honestly have to comb to stretch all layers of your pattern so all layers of your pattern are trained. But if you're just sticking to brushing, you're only training the first layer of your curls. So of course your pattern is gonna curl back up when you brush your hair, even after a wash and style. I get a lot of questions of people saying, I did the wash and style, but my hair frizzed back up, my pattern curled back up. First of all, you have to wait until your hair is fully dry before you take off your Durag. But if your hair is fully dry and you're still experiencing overcurling and your hair frizzing back up after you brush, that's simply because the wash and style doesn't fully train your waves. The wash and style kind of fake trains your waves. What I mean by that is the only reason why your curls are laying down and your hair is laid is because you're using water, which loosens your curls, and then you're also using soap and lather to lay down your pattern and keep it in place. So once you take off the Durag and your pattern is laid, of course your curls are gonna frizz back up and overcurl because your curls weren't really trained. They were only trained because of the water and the soap. So you actually wanna dry brush more than doing the wash and style. But if your pattern isn't 100% trained in that laid position, of course your hair is gonna curl back up because it's not really used to being laid down like that and trained to lay down like that. But in today's video, I'm gonna give you guys one of the best methods to keep your hair laid and to actually train your pattern to lay down. This method is gonna work for overwolfing, overcurling, frizzy 360 waves, scrambled 360 waves, bunched up 360 waves. This is pretty much an all-around method to train your pattern and to fix your 360 waves. If you are experiencing overcurling, frizzy hair, overwolfing, I do recommend you get a haircut just to trim down your hair to a more controllable length. But you can try this method. All right, so the first thing you want to do in order to start this method is you want to comb. A comb is really going to penetrate all layers of your curls, and the comb is also going to go in between your hair to stretch and actually train your pattern. It's going to detangle your curls and really put your hair into place. So that's the first thing you want to do. You do want to use a fine-tooth comb like this or like this to really detangle your pattern and to really move your curls into place. I wouldn't use a wide tooth comb because that's really not gonna do anything for your 360 waves. So with that being said, let's get right into the method. All right, y'all. So the purpose of combing is to really penetrate all layers of your curls, like I said, and you're also trying to stretch out your curls so they stop over curling. So just do this for about 5, 6, 7 minutes just to make sure everything is stretched to get rid of the over curling and to detangle your pattern. All right, wavers. So now that everything is stretched out and all my layers are penetrated and trained, we can now move on to the next stage of this method, which is brushing. You want to get you a medium brush. You don't want to use a hard brush because a hard brush is just going to cause your hair to be more frizzy, and you don't want to use a soft brush because a soft brush isn't really going to control all these layers of curls. So get you a medium brush for this next stage of this method. What we're going to do is we're going to brush our hair for 5 minutes, and then we're going to put a durag on, and then we're going to take off the durag, brush for 5 minutes, and then we're just going to keep going back and forth of brushing, durag, brushing, durag. The brush is going to slightly lay down your 360 waves, and then the durag is really going to compress and lay your hair. And what you're going to notice is slowly the scrambled waves are going to go away and your hair is going to slowly go back into place. The durag is actually what's really going to lay down your pattern, but the brush is necessary for moving your curls into place. And then essentially you're just letting the durag do the rest of the work. So let's get into it. All right, wavers. So during the brush session, you're really focusing on stretching out your curls and putting them in place. If you're dealing with over curling, you really kind of have to force your curls to lay down. So really use that medium brush to really press down on your curls to get them to stretch out and to lay them down. Whenever I'm over curling, I'm really just trying to force my curls into place because at the end of the day, they're not laying down. So you really have to apply some pressure. And all right, so that's the first brush session. I'm going to put on my durag for 5 minutes. And then after 5 minutes, I'm going to get in another brush session. All right, so it's been 5 minutes. Now let's get in another brush session to continue to brush, to lay down our pattern and to unscramble our pattern. It's a slow process of brushing to move our curls into place. And then the durag is going to come in and compress everything. Another thing you want to do while you're brushing is you want to press the brush against your waves and really pull them. So press slowly and pull the curls to stretch them out. That's really going to do a good job at unscrambling your waves. All right, so on this next brush session, you'll notice that your curls are a little bit more laid and compressed and in place. That's because the durag did a good job at laying everything down. The brush is simply just putting things in place so the durag could come and do its job, but you're continuing to stretch out your curls and put them in place. All right, so that's the second brush session. Now we're going to put on the durag again to compress everything down and make sure everything is laid. Another thing about this method is you could spread it out. You don't have to do it all in one session. You know, you could do it every hour. So every hour, get in a brush session, put on a durag. Every hour, get in a brush session, put on a durag. You can stretch it out throughout the day, but just make sure you keep that durag on because that's the main thing that's going to compress your hair and lay down your pattern. All right, so this is the third brush session. Another way to look at this is we're gaining some progress with the brush and then we're locking in or we're saving our progress with the durag. So let's get in another brush session. All right, y'all. So slowly but surely, we're moving our curls into place and they're slowly, forming into our pattern. And that's basically the purpose of this method. The brush is doing the work of moving everything in place and the durag is compressing. All right. My hair is looking frizzy after that one. So for this one, I am going to use a plastic bag to lay down that frizz. That's another reason why your hair might be scrambled. You might be locking in frizz. If you see that your hair is frizzy or scrambled, you never want to put on a durag because you're essentially locking in whatever your hair looks like before you put on the durag. So essentially, you basically want to make sure your hair is in place before you lock it in with a durag. All right, so that's the third time that we're doing this. I'm going to wait about 30 minutes, 45 minutes, just so the durag could do its job to compress my hair. All right, y'all guessed it, another brush session. Right now, I'm about to switch to the soft brush because the medium brush is starting to cause a little bit too much frizz and my pattern is starting to get less and less scrambled. So I'm switching over to the soft brush just to stop the frizz. So you can switch your brushes. So after the medium brush, switch to a soft brush to begin to finish the method. And you guys can finish the method whenever, like you don't have to keep doing this, right? Just do it until you're happy with your pattern, until all the, scrambled, bunched up look goes away. All right, so the medium brush really forced our curls into place and the soft brush is really just gonna lay everything down. Yeah, after you do this method, you're definitely going to see some progress in one day. But imagine if you do this method every single day consistently and you actually train your waves every day. Because think about it, you're training your pattern, you're locking it in, taking off the durag, training your pattern again, locking it in. You're slowly, gradually perfecting your pattern. I'm going with the plastic bag again. But yeah, that is pretty much the method. It's pretty simple. I'm probably going to do this one more time. The longer you put on the do-rag, the more compressed your hair is going to be and the more laid your hair is going to look. All right, y'all. So the method is done. I'm just going to show you guys the results of doing the brush and putting on a do-rag. These are the final results. You guys could keep going. You could do this all day, honestly, and you'll probably get better results. One thing I didn't go over in this video is moisturizing your hair. The reason I didn't talk about it is because when you're trying to lay down frizzy, overcurling, bunched up, scrambled waves, putting moisture in your hair is only going to make this method 100 times harder. But I do have a video of moisturizing your 360 waves that you guys can watch. I went into full depth of everything you guys need to know about moisturizing your hair. But with that being said, make sure you comb, make sure you're brushing, make sure you're wearing a do-rag to help protect and lock in your hair. And now that we're done with this method, put on that do-rag. Make sure you save this progress because that was a lot of work. Hopefully this helped. Make sure to hit the thumbs up button. Make sure to subscribe. I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.